Nobody thought we'd be here this soon, if ever. The Fordham Rams, with their first ever chance to win the Atlantic 10 Conference and a March Madness trip, they're both on the line today as they face off with another NCAA tournament hopeful in XAVIER today in the A-10 Conference title. What's going on, everybody? So glad you can make it to the championship round. My name is College Sports Survived, and I welcome you back to the College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series featuring our main man, Coach Carter, and his Fordham Rams, who are on the cusp of making history. After surviving a wild overtime shootout against UMass in round 1, I don't think anyone expected this 6-seeded Fordham squad to steamroll George Washington and then beat Temple soundly, but that's exactly what we were all witnesses to over the past few episodes. Fordham has not been the only rise to glory story here in the A-10 this season. With head coach Sean Miller back at his alma mater, he's willed a potent XAVIER club to the championship as well, after winning all 3 of their postseason games by 4 points or less, including a semifinal game for the ages against the defending champs, Charlotte. We actually sat in and watched a crazy one last time out, with someone on XAVIER emerging as the hero in that one. We'll meet him in just a moment. Fordham has an 0-1 record against the Musketeers so far this season. Our only meeting was a tight one that needed overtime to decide a winner. Scott Polite nearly tallied a triple-double in that one, while our captain, Preston Murphy, led all players in points. And for all who watched last installment, that name should ring some bells, as Scott Polite scored 8 of the most clutch points you will ever see to help take down Charlotte in the upset. A freak athlete who's added range to his jump shot over the years, this XAVIER team through and through knows how to fire him up from 3. If we don't defend the perimeter today, we are going to have the same fate as Charlotte. We've also been keeping a watchful eye on this screen all season. The Bubble Watch and bracketology lists, they've been hot topics for teams like Fordham who may or may not be playing in March. A win today guarantees it. A loss today puts it up for grabs. And to be real, the same thing goes for the guys in the other locker room as well. All 30 guys taking the floor tonight knows what's at stake. It's time to see who's better prepared for the biggest stage of their respective seasons. The A-10 Tournament Championship is on the line, and it's up next here on College Sports Revived. Well, for all who follow the A-10 Conference closely, this has been a wacky season, so what better way to close it out with the title game of the conference being between the 5th and 6th seeds, 2 clubs that had to go the long route to make it to the conference championship game. No first round byes for either club, but both clubs face very similar situations today. Both these teams are on the bubble watch of March, and to really punch their ticket and not have to worry the night before Selection Sunday, a win is necessary today for both teams, as Bennett Pincalo wins the tip for the Fordham Rams, and we will have the first rights to the basketball here tonight. The XAVIER defense, a little bit porous in this tournament so far after allowing 89 points to Charlotte. However, they won that shootout by 3 points, as we see Evangelo Higgins off the dribble taking Scott Polite. That's going to be a matchup to watch. Hand off to Pincala, kick out to Swanson, who hit a 3 in his big game last episode against Temple, but no avail this time. So now XAVIER with their first offensive possession, and this one is pretty quickly thrown inside to Tyron Higbee, the 3rd leading scorer on this XAVIER team, and then it's taken away by Percy Hamilton, who provides some pressure with his XAVIER teammates. So XAVIER already with 4 quick points. That was something that Fordham did very well against Temple. They only had 1 team turnover in the win, and they already have one here a minute into the ball game. So we'll see if Fordham can continue to play clean basketball and take care of their possessions, as it's Evangelo Higgins making the first basket of the game for this Fordham squad. 11 points per game for the senior. And he's actually tied for 2nd on the team with rebounds per game. Evangelo Higgins, his rebounding has been awesome for us this season, as Preston Murphy with a head full of steam. Now he finds some paydirt on the break there. This time the press break goes a lot better for Fordham, as we beat the Musketeers at their own game there. Scott Polite, though, with the ball on the deck. He'll take it baseline, but Fabian Swanson inside. He takes one right on the chin, but the charge is given to him. Gotta love that winning basketball, not afraid to maybe get into a highlight reel there. Nah, Fabian Swanson just wants to win, so already a charge taken by number 15. Gotta love to see that. Guys buying into a system here at Fordham as Hendry's off the mark, but it's scooped up. Fabian Swanson with second chance points on the very next possession. Swanson is proving that he still wants to be the hardest worker on the floor after his awesome performance against Temple in the semifinals. He had 18, 5, and a block in that game against the Temple Owls, which was kind of a revenge game for him. Now you see Titus Holland, the 6'5" point guard for the Xavier Musketeers. He stands at 220 pounds, going to be a tough matchup for Kai Hendry today, who is only 6'1" and stands around 180, so perhaps he will go inside, as Xavier's been doing a lot of that here in the early goings, and it goes back into the paint. This time it's Ross Frazier, the 7'1" backup center who stands at 286 pounds. As Preston Murphy, nice little teamwork there, as again the Fordham Rams go quick and it works out for them. So both teams finding their groove. You see Xavier going inside a lot, but this time it's finally shut down by Benepinkala, who swats it. And you see Fordham going fast. This time it's also blocked away, but into the arms of Evangelo Higgins, who again beats another Xavier Musketeer to a 50-50 ball. Fordham showing that they're going to out-hustle the Musketeers here in the championship game. It's going to be plays like that. If Fordham holds on, it's going to be plays like that that show you why they won this game. Now, a pick and roll between two freshmen who have bursted their way onto the scene. Kai Hendry with 20 points in the Temple win in the semifinal game, 18 of those in the second half. That brought his average up to 9.5 points on his freshman year. And then Benepinkala with 6.5 points per game and 5 rebounds on his first year as a college player. A little bit more inconsistent, however, he's showing flashes of being a very good glue guy inside. As good movement here for Fordham, as it is my boy Kai Hendry hitting the back iron and dropping one in from NBA range. Timeout Musketeers. They got to take a pause after Hendry shows off his range and take a look at him staring down Titus Holland a little bit, telling him to step up on him. Gotta love the trash talk in the biggest game of this season. 5:22 left to go in the first half. Fordham still up by 4. This is a very short-handed Fordham team who continues to turn heads. No six-man still. Dustin Black done for the rest of the season, as Evangelo Higgins with 2 guys on him. He continues an awesome first half. 10 points, 5 for 5 shooting for Evangelo Higgins. So he's playing a picture-perfect half, which is something we desperately need. As coming into the game for Fordham is perhaps a lack of offense. You see here, this is where our lack of depth is really going to hurt us, as this crazy layup almost goes, but on the floor right now it's Higgins alongside Milos Filipovic and KJ Bigsby, as this layup just misses, but it's Fabian Swanson for another offensive putback and gritty basket. I love the grit, I love the grime. That's what we've really built this team around. We want to be the hardest working club in the conference, as this time they finally shut us down going quick. 90 seconds to go here in the first half. Xavier's been killing us on the interior. Let's see if they go back to it. Scott Polite over the smaller Hendry, and there's actually his first bucket. Pretty surprising after Scott Polite had 30 in the semifinal game against the Charlotte 49ers. Timeout Fordham as they try to find an answer for down low. Both teams shooting very high percentages, as neither team really finding the threes much. Both teams are really defending the perimeter well, as there's another missed 3, but again, going inside. It's the Xavier Musketeers, as both Corey Terrell and Benepinkala have had their hands full. They're even on the court together and they still can't check out. Ross Frazier, the backup center, putting in some good work here tonight, as he's helped the Musketeers tie this thing back up at 34 apiece. The championship game still up for grabs. 9 seconds to go. Pick and roll. It's kicked around. Back outside to Preston Murphy eventually. And from the top of the key, he will take the lead for Fordham. Heading into the break. 36-34 is your halftime score, with the 6th seed Fordham Rams 1 half away from making their first March Madness since 1992. Overall, there was some good and some bad for your Rams, I feel. The all-around effort was fantastic. I love how they're spreading out the attack between Murphy, Swanson, and Higgins. And I also love the effort displayed by Fordham, beating them to all the 50-50 balls and Fabian Swanson has been the hardest worker on the court so far, and it's become contagious for his teammates. On the flip side, it was way too easy for Xavier in the key. I think Fordham is almost too worried about their three-point shooters, and they're letting up pretty much everything that Xavier wants inside, with the Musketeers shooting a sky-high percentage, and most of their damage is coming inside the paint. Colson Kowalczyk, for example, who's a 40% three-point shooter, has all of his points either inside the paint or from the free throw line, as he leads Xavier with 10 points today. And our boy Higgins had an excellent start to his day as well, 10 points for our senior wing. So much rides on the next 15 minutes of game time. Fordham's first ever A-10 championship banger hangs in the balance. It's time to find out if they have what it takes, guys. One last half stands between Fordham and their first March Madness appearance since 1992, and their first March Madness appearance as a member of the Atlantic 10, so we'll see if they have what it takes. Here is Xavier's first offensive possession. It's Percy Hamilton from mid-range. Nice feed there by Titus Holland. Being 6'5" sure helps with his vision, I bet. He sees the floor very well, 3.5 assists per game. As it's Murphy now trying to put the ball on the deck, but Holland with a hand in his face. Murphy's playing some point guard here, as of course Fordham a man down with no Dustin Black in the lineup. Murphy slides over to point guard as it's blocked by Bennett Pincala. Great defense down low as we're trying to make an effort to stop the damage inside, but now it's Hamilton with some luck on his side. The ball goes right into his hands and he's got a lane to go up and put it in. So now Xavier taking control of the game a little bit. Up by 5 here, 12 minutes to go in the ball game. The championship game on the line. Swanson tries to muscle his way down inside against the 7-footer. No good, but the follow is put in. Swanson again, working harder than everybody out there on the floor. You can tell this senior class, they want to end off their career on a high note and do something that no other Fordham player has done since they've belonged to the A-10 conference. What a pass, though, by Titus Holland, who whips one inside. Some eyes on the back of his head as the backup center Ross Frazier now has double-digit points on the nights. Only 5 minutes per game average on his sophomore year, but very good idea from Sean Miller, their head coach, to play him in extended time, as finally we get a stop there. Nice block by Evangelo Higgins, who runs the break. As he tries to look for some assistance, it's Fabian Swanson muscling his way down one-on-one against Percy Hamilton, who just needs to hit the weight room a little bit more. Fabian Swanson, a dozen on the game, continue to ride his shoulders on the offensive end, him and Higgins. 8:39 left to go, trying to stop Kowalczyk on the drive. There's a pass that's intercepted by Bennett Pincala. He showed off some great theft abilities here in his freshman year, but this one's off the mark though. Great closeout by Willard Sutton on Higgins on the break. 8:24 on the game clock. It looks like a mismatch inside for Xavier. They're going to try to get it inside to Frazier, who turns around and hits two more. Kowalczyk with a bunch of assists, and it's Frazier again knocking in two more. Swanson tries to go quick, but then it's taken away by Frazier, who continues a career night. Bounce pass over to Polite, who has the height advantage, but he gives it off to Kowalczyk as we try to switch the matchup quick, but they are a step ahead of the Fordham defense with Hendry on Polite and Higgins on Kowalczyk. They try to quickly switch it, but Polite goes baseline, and they were on the same Wi-Fi right there. Great assist as Xavier right now just outplaying Fordham here in the second half. 5:15 to go in the game. A quick hitter off the inbound, and Xavier takes their first double-digit lead of the contest. Things going from bad to worse as Fordham tries to go quick. Hendry kick out to KJ Bigsby. We're really hurting with our depth as Bigsby now throws it away. Kowalczyk with two more big ones. He has picked up the slack from Scott Polite, who still hasn't really made much of an impact. But as you can see, it hasn't really mattered. 11-point game, things looking dim for Fordham. Still have a little bit of time. They've come back from some crazy deficits so far in Season 3. Let's see if we can make it one more here. A quick hitter for Preston Murphy. We get him in space as he finally knocks down a triple. Fordham, it's not like they've been shooting bad from three. They just haven't had the looks. Xavier's been really closing on the three-point line. We haven't even attempted many today, but we'll see if we can open things up here with the game dwindling down. Polite wide open, but a surprising miss there. Checking out on the boards is Corey Terrell, who's playing in favor of Bennett Pincala, who's had a rough one down low today. 2:46 left to go in the championship game as it's Hendry stepping it back straight away. 4-3. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Hendry with 2 out of our 3 threes on the contest. However, he hasn't found much success outside of those threes. Kowalczyk with a bit of a ticky-tack foul. That's not what we need right now. Fabian Swanson looks beside himself, and I can't blame him. So knocking down 1 of 2 was Kowalczyk. Then we exchange baskets. It's now a 9-point game. Xavier on top with 1:46 to go in the title game. The Musketeers feeling good about themselves. They're trying to play ball control here as it's tipped away. Hendry with the steal. Higgins to Murphy, who tries to put the burners on. Bounce pass, kicked around. Higgins with a foot on the line, but it goes. What a shot by Higgins, who continues an awesome night. 18 for the senior out of the Bronx. The hometown kid, one of 2 Bronx kids on the roster, and you're looking at the other one playing great defense there. Fabian Swanson, the other Bronx native. 1:13 left to go. You need a big stop here. Polite again tries to deliver the dagger, but it's Murphy, this time cleaning up the glass. Hendry to Terrell, setting up something quick here perhaps, but it's a logjam inside. The pick and roll, no avail. Under a minute to play, trying to spread out this floor. Hendry, he looks for the screen from Preston Murphy. He rolls up on top. He puts on the burners. 45 seconds to go. Fordham really taking their time as Higgins muscles his way in. And 1 for Fordham. Higgins doesn't want to go out without a fight, as this free throw can make it a 1-score game. Higgins wanting to only go down by 3. This free throw is knocked in. Fordham with 8 unanswered points to claw back within 3. The Xavier Musketeers want to go quick. It's blocked by Terrell, but recovered by Holland. Still a 6-second difference between the both game clocks. We can still play for the stop. Fordham on defense. This is the biggest single possession of season 3. 20 seconds to go. Kowalczyk scans. Hendry playing him tight. The screen for Scott Polite. He ended the Charlotte day yesterday. Let's see if he can end us too. Kick out. It is Hamilton. No good. Polite with the board, but he goes back up with it and leaves it short. Oh my goodness, as Fordham burns their last time out. Why would Polite try to go back up with this? Perhaps he was reminded of his heroics last episode against Charlotte, but just a bad time there to try to finish us off. He could have just taken it and gotten fouled, but he leaves the door open for Fordham to have one last chance to tie things up and take it to overtime. Scott Polite just hasn't been able to recreate the same magic from his 30-point game against the 49ers, and he had being the hero on his mind. That's the #1 killer of team basketball, is hero ball. So let's see what Fordham has. 3.4 ticks left on the clock. What do they have up their sleeve? Coach Carter has given his team the game plan. He has Higgins in the front court. He's been awesome today, and the ball's going to go to him. 2 seconds left for the tie. Higgins, he leaves it long. And Fordham's comeback attempt comes up just a little bit short. 67-64. Xavier is the champions of the A-10 conference here in season 3, as Colson Kowalczyk will be your A-10 title game most outstanding player. Ah, man, that is a tough one to lose, guys. Just had a bunch of mistakes there in the second half, and we couldn't recover from them there at the end. Too many turnovers, as you can see here. Our starting 5 alone had 10 of them, and then 2 more from KJ Bigsby, who, as you can see, him and Milos Filipovic are just not ready to play big minutes yet. Evo Higgins with 21 to lead us. Preston Murphy was a little bit quiet until the end, but he still finished with 15, as Fabian Swanson 12 and 10. What a game there. But yeah, too many turnovers and just relinquishing way too many points in the paint. The Musketeers only had to make 1 3-pointer today to still beat us. That shows you how much they just tore us apart inside. Scott Blight only had 9 points, but it was a great team effort between Colson Kowalczyk and Ross Frazier. The backup big man, who only averages 5 minutes a game on the year, had 12 and 8 today. Well, guys, Xavier deserved to win that one. They just outplayed us. They didn't make as many mistakes as we did, and they could actually get stops when they needed to. Unfortunately, we come up short, and our first A-10 title in series history and in school history is going to have to wait for another day. But at the end of the day, we're still going to be watching this Selection Sunday show to see if Fordham will be playing in March Madness for the first time since 1992. Let's find out, guys. I'm on the edge of my seat. I hope you are too.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Greg Gumbel here with my partner Clark Kellogg, bringing you the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. The rankings look a little different than they did last week. The Alabama Birmingham Blazers fell all the way from the number 5 spot to number 12. Also, a new team has fought its way into the top 25. The Washington Huskies break into the poll as the number 24 team. I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. Here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April the 2nd. Then it'll be on to the National Championship game on Monday night, April the 4th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
I don't think I'm alone in my surprise with these picks. Whenever you reach this far down the poll for the top seeds, you're guaranteed to have some second guesses coming your way.
So with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Kansas Jayhawks are the top seed, finishing at 27-3. They were winners of the regular season championship in the Big 12. They'll take on the Tennessee Martin Skyhawks, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 5th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. On to our third bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional.
Well, guys, you getting nervous yet? This batch of games right here wraps up the 3rd region. Only one more to go. Fordham's time is ticking down. Did we make it, or did the committee hold us out after that Xavier loss?
This bracket has the potential to give us a sensational matchup in the regional final if everything goes according to form and the top 2 seeds can survive the early rounds. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top seed, finishing at 24-7. They finished 2nd in the ACC. They'll take on the Sacramento State Hornets, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 3rd appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Michigan State Spartans have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 10. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Fordham Rams, with 21 wins. This will be their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. Georgia Tech comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 22-10. and they will take on the 12th seed, the Southern Utah Thunderbirds, with 27 wins. Oregon comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 26-7. Alcorn State comes in to face them at number 13 with 25 wins in the tournament and regular season championships of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Our number 6 seed is from the Pac-10. The Washington Huskies are on a hot streak, having just won their conference tournament championship. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Missouri Tigers, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 19-13. The Baylor Bears are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Florida A&M Rattlers, with 22 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Illinois Fighting Illini, come into the tournament on the strength of a 3rd-place finish in their conference regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Ohio State Buckeyes, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-12. Charlotte enters the field as the number 2 seed from the A-10 conference. This is their 18th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the Robert Morris Colonials, finished the season with 20 wins.
The Charlotte 49ers are a team I love watching play. They've been one of the highest scoring teams in the country, and I don't see any reason for them to slow down during the tournament. If they can dictate the tempo of a game and force the other team to run with them, they are very hard to deal with. I wouldn't put it past these guys to make a run this year.
It's the first question every selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. Here's the list of the teams that were on the bubble heading into Selection Sunday. So, partner, which of those invitees should be sending the selection committee a thank you card?
St. Louis is going to sleep a lot better tonight than they did last night, Greg. I wasn't sure they were going to get that invitation, but they snuck in through the back door. Now we'll see if they make the most of it.
I'm sure that this year will provide us with all the thrills and excitement that we've come to expect from the tournament.
Greg, let's throw the ball up right now. I can't wait to get started. I hope this is an NCAA tournament that gives a lot of those special moments that stay with us for years to come.
There she is, guys. For the first time since 1992 and for the first time since Fordham joined the A-10 in 93, we will be going dancing and facing a blue blood in the first round. The 8-9 game in the West Regional contains the Fordham Rams and the Michigan State Spartans, and the winner of this game will more than likely face another blue blood in the second round, the North Carolina Tar Heels. So a very tough road for Fordham, who's never really been here before, but they got to take on a program and a coach who's no stranger to this stage. Tom Izzo will wait in the next locker room over. And you know what? They said in the show that this might be the toughest region out of all of them, and I can't deny that fact. You got the 1 seed North Carolina, arguably the best team in the country, the former back-to-back champions in this series, Georgia Tech in this region, Washington, the 6th seed, who just jumped their way in at the top 25, so they're really hot right now. You got Ohio State, and of course Charlotte, who can beat anybody on any given night. So all right, everybody, this wraps up this installment of the Coach Carter College Hoops 2K Legacy Mode series. Next time you see me, it'll be March Madness. The first time we're going dancing here in year 3. Nobody thought we'd make it this far, not even me. But we're here, and it's time to prepare for Michigan State. Hope to see you there. Take care, everybody. I'm signing out. Peace.